All right, let's talk email marketing today. In particular, we're going to talk about what happens after someone signs up to your email list. This is something that's come in a few times from various listeners of the Podcast Accelerator. In particular, a big thank you to Quincy for shouting out to me a couple of weeks ago about, actually, Marco, what the heck do we do with these email subscribers? And in particular, what do we do immediately after they've signed up? That's what we're going to dig into here on the Podcast Accelerator. I'm Mark Asquith, CEO and co-founder here at Rebel Base Media, the purveyors of fine podcasting solutions, including, of course, podcast websites, the world's #1 fully managed and hosted WordPress platform for podcasters, and, of course, Captivate.fm, the podcast hosting, analytics, and marketing platform that allows you to host multiple podcasts, build your own network, and do so much more just from one simple subscription. We're shaking up podcast hosting as you know it, so please go and check it out, Captivate.fm. Now, we are told lots and lots as podcasters about lead magnets, signing people up to our own email list so that we own the data, not building our communities on rented property like Facebook. And it's hammered into us that we need to do this. But what do we do after someone is on the email list? Well, we're going to dig into 3 emails that are vital to send to your new email subscribers in one moment. But I want to give a quick shout out to AWeber, of course, my email partner of choice. Now, I've been working with AWeber for years. Brandon and the team over at AWeber are just wonderful at what they do. And I've got to tell you, we're changing up the offer. So right now you can get 90 days completely for free of AWeber. You can try the things that I'm going to teach you today for free for 90 days with AWeber, all right? But that offer is going away in January. That offer won't be there, okay? That is the best deal you're going to get on AWeber right now. So please go and check it out. Even if you just sign up for the 90 days with the intention of starting to use it in January, go ahead and do that, all right? Because when it comes around to January, you're going to want to try and get more listeners, and honestly, you need to be doing this. So please go and check it out, markasquith.com/AWeber. Now, I've been in marketing for a long time. I'm sort of a strategic marketer. The tactical side of things I've gotten a little bit out of because the day-to-day running of Captivate and podcast websites, it inevitably takes you into a more strategic direction. But the team that we've got here at Rebel Base Media, of course, do work on the tactics alongside my strategic approach. And email marketing, I talked last week about print marketing and the fact that everyone says it's dead. It's not. It's not dead. It's not. It's really not dead. And everyone talks about email marketing being dead, but it's not. Look at the biggest people online, whether they are people like Joe Rogan, whether they're people like Kevin Smith, whether they're people that are entrepreneurs online. They all own their email lists. So people will sign up, they'll maybe subscribe for updates or for news, or maybe they subscribe for a lead magnet, to get something of quote-unquote value back in return for their valuable email address piece of data. So it's this little symbiotic relationship that consumers of things have with producers of things, okay? It's this symbiotic relationship, and you are a producer, and your listeners are consumers, okay? They are consuming your content, and rightly so, they're enjoying it, and they want to get involved. But what do we do when we've got people signed up? So I'm not going to talk about lead magnets. I'm not going to talk about how to get people signed up. I'm going to talk very specifically about the one thing to do once they've confirmed their subscription to your list. There are 3 emails, in fact, that I believe that as a podcaster, and this is very specific to you as a podcaster, that you have to do, all right? The first thing that you've got to do when someone has signed up to your email list, the first thing that you've got to do is thank them. I know it sounds really, really simple, really, really obvious, but I want you to try this in a very specific way. I want you to thank them by recording a video, sticking it up on YouTube, maybe in an unlisted format, or on Vimeo, in something that's unlisted on Vimeo. Do a private video, and I want you to specifically set up in your email campaigns. So if you're using something like AWeber, you can set up campaigns that trigger when someone signs up. The first email that someone gets when they've signed up, confirm their subscription to your email list, is I want it to be a thank you. Look, I'm a real person. So, hey, thank you so much for downloading the 9 Unconventional Ways to Grow Your Podcast. I just wanted to let you know that, look, I am a real person. It's me, Mark. This is not an anonymous email list. And I also wanted to let you know that I'm never, ever, ever going to spam you. I'm not going to sell your data. I'm not going to do anything like that. I just want to continue the relationship that we've got and get to know you a little bit more. Now, record something like that, very quick, very simple. It can be a minute long, but I want you to close this with a very personal call to action. So what I want you to do is to say something like, look, you know what the show is about. You know what the podcast is about. If you enjoy the stories that I tell, if you've got anything at all, anything that I can do for you, I want you to email me, mark@rebelbasemedia.io. Give your email address out. Don't be nervous. They're already on your email list. They've got your email address the second that you email them. Give your email address out and invite them to email you with any questions that they've got. So we're starting the engagement. Hey, maybe you've got recommendations for the show. Email me, mark@rebelbasemedia.io, and so on and so forth. But then you've got the opportunity in this first email, which is a welcome email and a thank you email with a video, you've got the opportunity to ask something as well. Because as long as you've given value or you've offered a little bit of value, okay, you can email me personally. I want you to say something like, hey, and also, if you like the show, just help others discover it by leaving a review on Podchaser or leaving a review on your Apple Podcasts app or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. So we're not going to ask too much, and we're not expecting people to do it. But that first email that you send after someone subscribed is a video. Thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to sell your data. It's going to be very, very honest. Then, if you've got any questions or any ideas, drop me an email by return, mark@rebelbasemedia.io. Or, if you feel very confident, finish this off with, oh, and if you do like the show, help others to discover it by leaving a review on Podchaser. So that's email number one. It's a thank you, and you're kind of just building that engagement up. Now, email number two. We're going to kind of hark back to the listener acquisition flow a little bit here. Let's assume that someone is on your email list, but we don't know whereabouts in that listener acquisition flow that they are. We've got no idea. We don't know whether they're a lurker, whether they've listened to a trailer, whether they've listened to an episode, whether they're a subscriber or an advocate. We've got no idea at this point. So what we've got to do is I want you to start to segment the audience out a little bit. So the second email, and this is a little bit more advanced, but if you do it early, it's going to really, really benefit you. Using something like AWeber's click segmentation, where if someone clicks something, you can add a tag to their account. I want you to start to segment out your audience with this second email. So, email that you send goes out the day after they've signed up, and it just says one very simple thing: help me to help you. And in that email, it's a simple question. Hey, Louise, hey, John, whoever, just a quick question. Since you're here and since you've signed up, may I ask a question? Have you ever listened to the podcast? Yes or no? And on yes, there's a little hyperlink. It's a click. And on no, there's another little click hyperlink. And what they do, so again, using something like AWeber, I'm sure other companies do this. If I click yes, this is all well and good. What it does is it then takes me, if I say, right, yes, I've listened to a podcast episode, what it does is it takes me to a page on the website which says, brilliant, I'm really glad you enjoy it. Here are 2 episodes that I think you'll like, 2 hidden gems from the archives that you might not have listened to. And of course, on that website page, you embed your Captivate hosting podcast player with those 2 episodes. But also what you do is when they click yes, in the back end of something like AWeber, you tag them with existing listener. Okay, so that you can then send extra content to them later for existing listeners. If they click, no, I've not listened, you said, that's great. You send them to a page on your website, which is for your trailer. Hey, don't worry about it. Here's a 90-second trailer that will get you involved in the show. You can listen to it here right away in 90 seconds flat. And then when they click that, of course, not only do they get sent to the website, but they also get tagged in AWeber's backend or in your email marketing provider's backend as new listener or potential listener, okay? Because then you can target them with different types of email content later. Early stage segmentation, all right? The third email that I want you to send out, is an extremely, extremely simple one, which is a follow-up offer of help. Okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. It seems a bit much. You've told me to send 3 emails. 2 of them, 1 and 3, are me offering something. Of course they are, because that's what this is about. You're building brand and trust and engagement and equity in this relationship. The middle one can be grabbing a little bit of info from them. Are you a listener? Go and listen to this episode. If you are, if you're not, go and listen to the trailer. But the third one has to be on, say, I recommend the 3rd or the 4th day after they've signed up. Use your judgment on this. You'll know your audience a little bit. Do some testing on it. 3rd or 4th day after they've signed up, send them another email that just says, hey, Louise, John, just checking in with you. How did you find the episode? Have you got any feedback for me? If you have, hit reply. And oh, hey, by the way, if there's anything that you want me to cover, any stories you want me to tell, any entertainment you want me to put in there, any comments you've got on the format of the show, anything about the release schedule of the show, the length of the show, let me know by reply. Now, You kind of offer any help with this as well, because I want you to finish this off with, and if there's anything I can do for you, please also hit reply and let me know what that is. Now, the point of this email is very clear. It's to gather feedback early on about the podcast. What do they want from the show? Actually, is the show too long for them? That's not to say that you're going to react to it. Is the show too short for them? Are there segments they don't like? It's not to say that you're going to react and change anything, but essentially you're continually compiling survey answers. Okay? But without that impersonal approach of saying, oh, click here to fill a survey in. No, that's not what we're interested in at this point. It's personal. All right? So do those 3 emails. So let's do a quick recap. The second someone has confirmed themselves on your email list, you send email number 1, which is a personalized video, and it says to them, thanks for subscribing. I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to sell you data. If you need anything, here's my email address. Oh, and by the way, if you want to leave a review on Podchaser or whatever, please go and do that. The second email is a segmentation email. Have you ever listened to the show? Yes or no? If you have, brilliant. Here's a website with curated episodes that you might have missed. And here, if you haven't, is a trailer. So you can listen in 90 seconds to what you're going to get from the show. When they click those buttons, they get segmented. A tag gets added to the back end of your email provider. Then the third option, the third email that you send out 3 to 4 days after they've signed up, is a very simple, hey, by the way, remember I'm going to help you. Just let me know what you want. Hit reply. Oh, and by the way, have you got any feedback on the show? Is there anything that you don't like about the show that you'd like to see changing? Is there anything that you'd prefer me to do? Anything that you'd like me not to do? And so on. So you're getting this vital information back. And that's just the first 3 emails. All right, you're not going to do bad if you do that. So think it through. Email marketing is not easy, but those 3, you can set them and forget them, and you can tweak them every year. All right, go ahead and do that. Now is the time as well. It's coming up to January. I know this is evergreen content. It's never going to date, but hey, if you're listening to a subscriber right now, today when I release this, it's a pretty decent time to do it, all right? So go and check that out. I urge you to do that. And again, go try AWeber, markasquith.com/AWeber. You can do that in AWeber. And of course, I'm sure you can in other email marketing platforms, but I prefer AWeber because they're fantastic. And again, go and check out Captivate.fm for your podcast hosting, for that embeddable player that I talked about during this episode. And listen, tell your friends who are into podcasting about this show. Share it on Facebook. If you think this is valuable to someone, if you think someone needs to hear this in podcasting, share this episode in the Facebook groups. Please go and share it in the Facebook groups, the podcasting ones that you're in. Tell your friends, tag a couple of friends in there, and let me know what I can do to help, all right? And until the next time, thanks for joining me. Big shout out to everyone. Big shout out to Quincy for the idea for this episode. And until next time, never forget, the more you expect from yourself, the more you will excel.